Hey guys, it's Brother John. I'm back at you with another Bible review for you. This is probably my last one I'll do. I just got this one recently in the mail. This is the Scofield Study Bible King James Version, burgundy leather, and this is thumb index. This particular one, excuse me, came out, let's see here, a box right here, in 2002. So this would be considered one of the newest ones on the market. Here on the box, this is also known as a Scofield 3. I never owned a Scofield before. I owned one in the past. You look right here on the back of the box, it shows you the years. Because there's a lot of history in this book. This Bible actually came out in 1909. Was also known as the Scofield Reference Bible, King James Version. So this one is considered to be the study Bible one. There's a difference between the two. This one's very interesting. This Bible reminds me of a lot of other. I've done some reviews of other study Bibles in the past, but we'll talk a little bit about it. So it's got marriage thing, certificate, birth, and all that kind of stuff. Then you got the Scofield Study Bible King James Version. This is from Oxford University Press, New York City. That's what it says. And then you have C.I. Scofield, Doctor of Divinity. You got some editors. I'm not too familiar with these universities down below. I'll show it to you real quick and I'll talk more about it down below. I'm not too familiar with some of these universities. Like I am with the Rice Reference Bible. I'm very familiar with that one. But this one here has got the president of Moody Bible Institute. And it's also got the president of Dallas Theological Seminary. Doctor of Divinity, Doctor of Letters, and Associate Ministry, and Doctor of Theology. I actually read this introduction. It's actually pretty good. Here's an introduction to the Scofield Study Bible. It talks a little bit about the history about it and about how it came about. It's a pretty interesting story, background of it. Gives you basically the main principles that want to be applied in here, and how to use this study Bible on the next page. Now, this is not the same Bible that most people are used to. Most people are used to the old Scofield. I wanted the latest, newest thing on the market. I want to see what the young whippersnappers, how you want to call it, using these days. Because I'm a Scofield. I never really cared to have one. But my wife actually bought the Ryrie Study Bible, and she also bought this one. I'm in college studying theology, so let's talk about theology. Let's talk about Bible. You got the Pentateuch on this side, and on this side you have the introduction to the Book of Genesis. Now the Ryrie, I just did a review of that. The Ryrie actually had the same dates. Sorry, as a Scofield. Then you have the outline at the very bottom, basic little outline at the bottom. I'll try to be very quick. Now, this Scofield Study Bible, this reference Bible or study Bible has the references. There is no center column reference, but it's like a wide margin. It has the references on the side margins. So you have it right there, like a wide margin. Then you have the commentary and below, and you have some more commentary here. And Scofield holds to the gap theory. We'll talk a little bit about that in here a little bit. You have names of God. You also have that in Rock of Ages, I believe. Speaking of Rock of Ages, this Bible really does remind me of Rock of Ages. There's a lot of similarity between this particular study Bible, the Scofield 3, and the Rock of Ages. The layout is very similar, but the layout also kind of reminds me of the Ryrie, because the Ryrie has the references on the side margins as well, or on the wide margin. It has only references on the wide margin. You have dispensations of the Bible. I actually read this section pretty decent right here. You also find this in the Rock of Ages as well. That's why it kind of reminds me of it. Then you have the first dispensation right here on the other page. Shows you when that dispensation started. Kind of similar to the Rock of Ages. And covenants in the Bible right there. Little article right here at the bottom. And you have the references on the side like I showed you. And you got types in the Bible. And you got the very beginning of the covenant when it starts. Kind of like a dispensation. John R. Rice thought the Scofield study or the reference Bible was too dispensational. That's what he thought. But that's just his opinion. Here on the next page you have the second dispensation when it starts. Right there is my daughter right there. She's looking right at me. Hey, Kaylee. And then you have, I really like having the references on the side margins, on the wide margin like this. This would be a good study tool to use. I don't believe in taking study Bibles to church, but if I did, I don't think this would be too, well, this was kind of distracting to be honest with you, because it's got a lot of charts, diagrams, maps, all that good stuff in here, and it'd be kind of distracting from the sermon. Like you can see right here on page 12, chapter 15, Genesis, there's this diagram or chart from Adam to Noah right there. This reminds me a lot about the Ryrie, the difference between, or the names of God right here. The difference between this one and the Ryrie is like, here it's like the normal Scofield where you have to read the text, and then when you see a letter, then you just go to the reference to find the letter. For example, it says clean 2 and male, and it's talking about it says clean to 2 male and female. Yeah, so right here it says A, so you go to the reference right here and it'll say A. It'll tell you where to go to. See, like the Ryrie wasn't like that. The Ryrie actually had the reference right beside the verse. So here's 15. The reference will be right beside 15. So you won't have to read the text to find the letter to go to search for it. This book is very dispensational. Some people say it's too dispensational. It really depends on the person. Right here it has the third dispensation. A quick little article right here. Now, one thing I thought was interesting is I don't really know much of the difference between Doctor of Divinity and Doctor of Theology, because I'm in school studying. I'm a theology student. And Scofield had Doctor of Divinity. They taught dispensationalism really deeply. You would think that someone who taught dispensationalism really deeply would be a theology student. Someone like Ryrie. Ryrie had what we talked about the other day, PhD in Doctor of Theology. So you would think, someone like Ryrie would make sense to teach dispensationalism. But what do I know? All right, let's go. So the introductions are not going to be overwhelming. It's very basic introductions. Simple. The font size in this Bible could be, in the text, it's like a comfortable print. I'm not going to say it's large print. It's like a comfortable print. So it's pretty decent. You can read it. Kind of like the Rock of Ages. I keep comparing it to the Rock of Ages. I'm sorry. But the introductions font is going to be very kind of a little bit smaller than the text font of this. You can see it's not going to be as big as this one goes. There's a lot of writing in here you can do. There's a lot of writing you can do in here. Sorry, my daughter's using here. You can take a lot of notes in here. A lot of note taking. The reason why I got this one was because actually a deacon in my church actually had this particular one. We were talking about the differences between the Scofield Study Bible and Scofield Reference Bible. And he recommended me to get this one at that time because I was a newer convert at the time. And he thought this would be a lot more better. But the introductions, like I said, it's not going to be overwhelming. I wouldn't carry this to church because it was too distracting. It's got a lot going on. in this one. So you got this big, huge chart. Right, I'm just randomly flipping. This huge chart right here, and you got the double column references, or on the wide margin. Sorry. You got some maps in here as well, kind of like the Rock of Ages, where you see these maps in here, right in there in the text, well below it. Right here, I'm gonna randomly flip. You also have right here, you have divine judgment. This is would be teaching the gap theory here in Isaiah 45, where he has a little. I'm not sure if this would be in the original Scofield, but I don't think it is. I think it's something added. That's something in here that makes me feel a bit more comfortable, is that seeing that there's a lot of contributors to this makes me feel a lot more comfortable than versus just reading someone else's opinion on scriptures. I want people to actually look at it, check it out. It actually makes me feel more comfortable. So right here you have another big, huge map right here in Daniel, right there. Let's see if he's got anything in between the testaments. A lot of times there's a lot of goods in between the testaments. A lot of times there is. But since we're at the red letter, let's talk about the red letter real quick and we'll go back. The red letter is not like a blood red like the Ryrie, but it's readable. It's not too light. It's pretty decent. You can read it, especially with the size font in here. It is red letter. You can see that. Let's go back in between the testaments, see if he's got anything. 'Cause a lot of times people put stuff in between the testaments. I know Ryrie did. Yeah, right here it says from Malachi to Matthew. Here's a little interesting read right there. You can read what happened in between the times. And it's got the 4 Gospels, talking about the 4 Gospels in here. This study Bible would be considered, I guess you can consider it conservative, evangelical maybe. But a lot of Baptists do use Scofield. A lot of evangelicals do too. So the page on the 4 Gospels, you find that it's like 2.25 page in here. Real good reads. The introductions is not going to be overwhelming. There's a lot of places you can take notes on. See, it's not going to be overwhelming. It's very basic introductions. There's a lot of paper in here you can take notes on. Pretty decent. The commentary in this book is a very, I wouldn't consider it to be academic, but I would consider it to be, it's average. You got commentary at the bottom, at the very bottom. The font could be a little more better. The meanings of the kingdom of heaven. I read that the other day. You got a map right here, and you got this little charts, diagrams. This is stuff that's been added, I believe. This would be considered premillennial dispensational. Obviously, it's dispensational, but premillennial view of the scriptures. You have another little map right there. Let's get to the back. You got Revelation. The book of Revelation is going to be, like I said, the outlines are going to be basically the same throughout the Bible. It's not going to be overwhelming. It's going to be basic. And the introduction is going to be basic. It's not overwhelming. It's not like the outlines are going to be like Ryrie, where it's just like out of this world. I remember that. Yes, basic introductions, outline. A lot of people preach from this Bible. I just don't think I could. It's very distracting. You got the 7th dispensation, the kingdom, and a summary of Satan down below. Kind of reminds me of the Ryrie. Not Ryrie, but the Rock of Ages. My daughter wants to see what I'm doing. And you got subject reference. in here. Right in the back, some goods. And you got. I haven't really been all the way back to the back yet. Sometimes a lot of Bibles have a lot of goods. Here's a concordance here in the back. Yeah, it doesn't have much back here in the back. No, so I haven't got to it yet. Yeah. Got some note-taking paper right here. That's cool. It's these maps. These maps will be coming from Oxford. These maps will be coming from Oxford, so let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I think it's about the same amount that was in the Ryrie, I think. I could be wrong. It could be 16 maybe, I'm not sure. Got one ribbon in here. And this, they said that all of these come in thumb index. I'm not sure. But it's a pretty good study Bible. What things I don't like about it would be Scofield's idea. It's kind of like the Ryrie, where Mr. Scofield and the contributors, their idea of preservation, their idea of inspiration. I'll take you to a place real quick. This is what I took people, I think, the other day in the Ryrie. Same place. It's in the ending of Mark, I think. Yes, Mark 16:9, where it says, verses 9 through 20 are not found in the two most ancient manuscripts, Syriac and Vaticanus. Others have them, but the passage is quoted by. So this is showing you his passage is quoted by. But see, I don't need that in a study Bible. I mean, I think it brings doubt to the believer. Whether or not God, when King James inspired his word, or God inspired his word through the King James, or say, well, the King James got errors in it, but the word of God's perfect. That kind of stuff I'm not too crazy about. But other than this is a good reference Bible or study Bible. You can check it out. Get some good stuff out of it. All right. Love you guys. God bless. Bye.